when the snow is on her mind. Rows and rows and lines in the haze of your fixation. We all crave for you, we all crave. And you can kill the wildest thing. When you murder, it's a sin. In the midst of your conviction, we all crave for you, we all crave.
When I heard you sing, it felt like a christening, a baptism at the back of the bar. I fell under your spell. You sang my life so well. As your voice quivers with each line you deliver, I hear the orchestra as I stand in awe. I've felt so close to the Lord. I've tried my whole life to ignore. But love, I'm alive. Maybe the star of Bethnal Green could lead us back to Bethlehem. Lord, I've tried. Maybe the star of Bethnal Green could lead us back to Bethlehem. When I heard you sing, it was a balm for the blistering, my eyes all swollen and scarred. Your hands guide mine over the bridge. I felt each word without fail. The love, I'm alive, and maybe the star of Bethnal Green could lead us back to Bethlehem. Lord, I've tried, but maybe the star of Bethnal Green could lead us back to Bethlehem. Lord, I'm alive, and maybe the star
If you want to be a better ally to LGBTQ people, start meditating. I recommend this for two reasons. One is very practical, and one is a bit philosophical. So, the practical reason is that if you're doing work in support of and in solidarity with LGBTQ people, there are going to be times in that work when you get activated, when your emotions are triggered, when your senses are heightened. This might happen when you are engaging with people who disagree with LGBTQ equality and inclusion, and you just get like so mad and upset on behalf of LGBTQ people. It also might happen when you're trying to do good work on behalf of LGBTQ people, and there are times when queer people disagree with you, or call you out or call you in, and you might in that moment be poised to get defensive. And so a meditation practice will help you with both of those scenarios. That you've got to get comfortable being present in your body, paying attention to um, the ways in which your heart, your lungs, your skin, all that is responding, and to be able to notice as feelings arise, as thoughts arise, and then also to let them go and to return back to a center, to a breath, to a state of calmness. That is going to be absolutely critical. And then it's also important, I also recommend a meditation practice for people who want to be supporters of LGBTQ people or who already are supporters of LGBTQ people and want to take their allyship to the next level, because there's something to learn about allyship from meditation. And that is, in meditation, it's not just about having a calm and clear and still mind, but actually a lot of the progress and growth in your meditation practice happens in that moment when your mind starts to wander, when thoughts start to pop up into your head. And your ability to notice that and then bring it back to center is when the sort of like magic in your brain and in your spirit happens. And similarly, when you're trying to be an advocate for LGBTQ people, it's not about getting it perfect all the time, because you won't get it perfect all the time. Now, of course, we want to get as close as for you to do as good a job as you possibly can. And also, you're human. There are going to be times when you mess up, when you're trying your best and you don't even realize that you're doing something that's hurtful or harmful and it just sort of slips up. Or there are times when you're just going to be tired or exhausted and make mistakes or sort of give into this sort of like path least resistance. And in those moments when you are challenged by LGBTQ people, this is the moment. How you respond in that moment shapes everything. This is where your growth as an advocate for LGBTQ people happens. And this is sort of how you show your mettle. And so when you're in those moments where you're confronted by LGBTQ people who disagree with your tactics, who are telling you that something you've done or said is hurtful, I invite you to sort of like pause and be present in that moment, to notice if your body is having a reaction to that, and to take a moment to take a breath and to return to the stillness of your body. And then to approach that with an open mind and a beginner's mind, like we say in meditation, and to approach that with an air of curiosity, a curiosity towards the person calling you out or calling you in, and compassion towards yourself. Can you tell me more about that? I didn't know about that. Thank you so much. And then tuck that away and allow that to be an area of growth for you in the future. If you want to learn more about how to take your allyship of LGBTQ people up to the next level, we put together a whole bunch of resources over at greattheology.com/allies. Head over there and check them out.
stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say, no one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send the blood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come, and I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me.
Hi, welcome to CLACCA ULC. My name is Mr. Rev Comrade Rowley, and I'd just like to acknowledge that the land that we're meeting on is of the Gadigal and the Wangal people of the Eora Nation, and I pay my respects to the elders, both past and present. Recognise sovereignty, treaty, and social justice has never been ceded. Good. So just a couple of announcements. Firstly, a quick report back. So last Sunday, we went to inner city, Inner West City Council. Was organised by Councillor Mayor. Was a community forum on challenging homophobia and transphobia in our community. And the Charlie Murphy spoke. There was also a Greens councillor that spoke. There was also a Uniting Church minister who spoke. And there was also a councillor and there spoke, and there was also a local citizen who had experienced transphobic attacks during World Pride, during Sydney Mardi Gras and World Pride, in which their local shop was attacked. Simply because they happened to have Pride. Them and another shop happened to be attacked simply because they happened to be simply because they happened to have a Pride flag. And they also had a Q&A section in which they invited members of the community to ask questions, say comments, etc. So, in which case, I was the second person that got picked to ask questions, and raise ideas. And the thing I suggested was to bring back the Safe Schools campaign. And I spoke. I spoke how the fact that transgender people are under attack at my university, and that we need protests outside of churches, outside of schools, and there was general common agreement amongst the room that we do need to bring Safe Schools campaign. And I spoke briefly about what had happened to me, and how I'm having to fight for the equal right to complete my degree, and that this had been the second time at my university in 5 years. The first time was in 2017, and then the second time and while there had been ongoing transphobic discrimination in my dead name going on, but this was like the second major time that I put as a result of the university doing nothing, and as a result of the School of Theology not having a Safe Schools LA program actually on the ground, it resulted in me being prevented from the equal right from completing my degree for the next 5 years, and so which also affected my Centrelink income, which, and so this week I'm supposed to find out the outcome of my appeal, as to whether or not my appeal has succeeded or not, in which case I may have to lodge a complaint to overturn it, because unfortunately it does affect your, it does stuff up your chance in being able to go to even being able to apply to go to another university to complete your degree. It does effectively, like, it does when you get excluded from one university, it results in you being for a certain period of time, it can essentially prevent you from being able to go to any other university, and so that's why it was, apart from the fact that I was not guilty of the offense, it was important the fact that I fight for the equal right to complete my degree, because of the fact of that, like, I can't afford to wait 5 years for the equal right to complete my education. Like, I'm yeah, like I'm 45 this year, and to be told by bigots that I have how I've got to wait 5 years to complete 3 subjects, is not cool, not okay. And even trying to apply, because one of the things that I've done in the event my appeal is not successful, I've also gone and seen if it's possible for me to go and apply at other universities. I've discovered that essentially you got to get the exclusion overturned in order to be permitted to go and study at other universities. So effectively, I am having to go and overturn this in order to complete my degree. So if I can at least overturn the exclusion in order for me to be able to go and complete it at least at another university, like essentially like they need to meet me halfway. So like what we're asking for is if the situation can't be resolved with UTC staff, then at minimum let me go and complete my degree at another campus, or let me go to another university. I just think it's like it's a bit silly. Over simply because one particular staff member can't accept who I am. I am him and and didn't want to help me. It doesn't give them the right to stop me from going and completing my studies, whether it be in Canberra, whether it be at another university. It doesn't give them the right to do that in any way, shape, or form. So we while we hope the outcome of the appeal will be good, regardless of what the outcome will be, we're going to continue to fight. While we hope it will be a win, however, if it's not, we will be lodging another appeal to overturn it. And we are also in the process of applying to other universities, so we can equally. So we're hoping that we can get an outcome in 2024 to try and resolve the situation, so that we can at least at minimum go and complete our qualifications, which should be the priority at the moment. So that's all in relation to that. The important announcement that's coming up is May Day protests. If you're a worker and fighting for the equal right for your job and employment, etc., they're advertised. Check out what your local union is doing and join the local May Day workers' protests throughout the course of or wherever they may be located, and stand up for workers' rights, particularly now. Given the fact that workers' rights are not necessarily always 100% supported, it's important to stand in solidarity with the workers, etc. Also, on the factor that given the fact that Centrelink payments are continuing to be cut, and likewise affordable housing is not being quite so affordable. affordable even more than now. We need to continue to stand in solidarity with workers. That's all in relation to that. And so now I am going to bring you the message. And this particular message, it comes from the Good Shepherd, and it's from Acts 2:14, 36 to 41, 1 Peter 2:20 to 25, and John 10, 1, 10. In the midst of all the uncertainties in which we live, today's liturgy invites us to recognize Jesus as a Good Shepherd. By calling Jesus the Good Shepherd, John found an image which has impacted the Christian conscience and memory. As it happens so often in the Gospels, this image refers to a rural experience in the Johannine text. Jesus presents himself as the pastor who loves and is concerned for the sheep. Jesus loves them, calls them by name in John 10, 3. Jesus is close to them. The sheep also know Jesus. They know Jesus' voice. This two-way knowledge binds them indissolubly, especially if we keep in mind that in a biblical text, to know means to love. We are dealing with an intimate knowledge which somehow creates a mutual affectionate dependence, whereby at the beginning of the text, the Good Shepherd is the antithesis of the thief and the bandit. The sheep do not know the voice of strangers. The thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy, while Jesus comes so that we may have life abundantly. Once again, we're in the presence of the central alternative, life or death. Jesus makes us see what is really at stake within the church, namely the responsibilities are to be carried out in the Christian community. Those who have the task to guide must be close to the Christian people. At the same time, know their needs and their hopes, and moreover, they must share their lives. Like the Good Shepherd, we must be the gate through which people enter into justice and joy of the kingdom without being gatekeepers of people's lives. Pastoral responsibility is a service, not a privilege. The shepherd who neglects the daily suffering of the poor and the abuses they endure becomes a stranger and, in the final analysis, a thief and a bandit, even though these terms sound harsh. There is always a risk. The Lord's warning is severe and demanding for everyone. Often the media will report a brutal eviction, which is occurred in various different cities. The judge, that is to say, the person in charge of doing justice, may or may not be present. But yet hundreds of bullies in and out of uniform on horses, but what is usually present are hundreds of bullies in and out of uniform on horses or on foot. These bullies we know as the police. They're upholding the law, but they're not upholding justice or human dignity. They burn shacks, loss of scanty goods, and dozens of people wounded, perhaps some dead, mistreated children. After hearing Peter's homily announcing the risen Jesus, the listeners are asked, "What shall we do?" This is an appropriate question to ask. In the midst of one. This is an appropriate question to the message of one whom God chose, but who was rejected. How should we react in the face of police brutality? How how can we begin to proclaim to be a good shepherd who came to bring us abundant life when we face in the face of situations like the one just mentioned? What should we do to be shepherds rather than bandits bandits in the face of such injustice today? This particular message, it's not a call for us to go and fight for the police. It's not a call to go and fight the police, but at the same time, nor is it a call for us to be a doormat. In the face of hostility, there are two things that we have to do. Is one, we have to respect the wishes of what the person wants to do. Two, more importantly, we have to be willing to put our own lives on the line in order to stop the police attacks. And while that can often be tough, sometimes being an ally, being an ally, means simply standing by someone. Simply means standing by someone, even in the worst possible situation. That's essentially what means being an ally. It doesn't mean being a doormat. It certainly doesn't mean being a doormat, and at the same time, it doesn't mean picking a fight with the cops. But it simply means doing whatever you can, to stop the injustice from happening, in that particular situation. I think that to be an ally, it means just sometimes just being there. And even though like you feel like, even though you may feel at a loss of what to do in the situation, I think primarily like just being there can often be the most valuable thing that you can do in a situation in which they're not only just being there, but doing whatever you can to stop the attack from happening. We're now going to go to our next song of praise, and we're going to I'll Stand By You by the Pretenders.
So sad, the tears are in your eyes. Come on and come to me now. Don't be ashamed. ashamed to cry. Let me see you through, 'cause I've seen the dark side too. When the night falls on you, you don't know what to do. Nothing you confess could make me love you less. I'll stand by you, I'll stand by you. Won't let nobody hurt you. I'll stand by you. So if you're mad, get mad. Don't hold it all inside. Come on and talk to me now. Hey, what you got to hide? I get angry too. Well, I'm a lot like you. When you're standing at the crossroads, but don't know which path to choose, let me come along. 'Cause even if you're wrong, I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you. Won't let nobody hurt you. I'll stand by you. Take me into your darkest hour, and I'll never desert you. I'll stand by you. And when the night falls on you, baby, you're feeling all alone. You won't be on your own. I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you. Won't let nobody hurt you. I'll stand by you. Take me into your darkest hour, and I'll never desert you. I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you. Won't let nobody hurt you. I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you. Won't let nobody hurt you. I'll stand by you. Take me into your darkest hour, and I'll never desert you. I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you.
Now it's time for communion. On the night that Jesus was betrayed, Jesus took a loaf of bread and broke it and said, "This is my body which is broken for you. Do this in remembrance of me." In the same way, Jesus took the cup after supper and blessed it, saying, "This cup is new covenant of my blood, which is poured out for you. Do this in remembrance of me." This table does not belong to the state. It doesn't belong to any church. It belongs to God, and all are welcome to the table. Please come and share in this meal. God, in your grace, hear our prayer. Our next song of praise is Daughter by Ryan Cassidy.
No doubt in my mind, and these changes, they take time, you'll find. I didn't change who I am. I've always been a man. Still it changed your world. But Dad, I'll always stay your little girl. I know that you accept me as your son, but that doesn't mean your daughter ever did run. I'll always be close to you, no matter what. I love you and no doors are ever shut. I didn't change who I am. I've always been a man. Still it changed your world. But Dad, I'll always stay your little girl. I didn't change who I am. I've always been a man. Still it changed your world. But Dad, I'll always stay your little girl. But Dad, I'll always stay your little girl.
And now it's time for our offering. If you'd like to donate to the life and work of CLACCA Universal Life Church, we could sure use your funds. Funds to our fighting fund. Essentially, your donated funds contribute to keeping the cost of our events free. So things like organizing Mardi Gras and Fair Day, or if people come to us and they want a transgender baptism, or things like registering our church copyright license, because we have to have a live stream. We have to have a in order to do this live stream Sunday church service, we have to have a live streaming church, what they call a live streaming church copyright license, because unfortunately both Facebook and YouTube like the reason why we're able to provide play the music that we're able to play on CLACCA or through our live stream church service is because we have a live stream copyright. It is because we have a live stream church copyright license, license in which we have to pay an annual fee, which is a couple of $100. It's a couple of $100 per year, and we pay that to Christian Copyright Licensing International, and then they pay that money. To the artists, to every song that we play in CLACCA ULC. We have to pay the artist a fee, and so how we do that through CLACCA ULC is we have a Christian we have a church copyright license, and so we pay that annual fee. We pay that annual fee, and then that annual fee covers the cost of every time a song is played in order to keep the music for free. Now, it's something that look personally personally, like most artists just want to get their music heard. Most artists just want to get their music heard, particularly LGBTIQ QA plus people who very often who all too very often do not get hired within the industry and often have to turn to YouTube as the only place in which a transgender person can play their music, can get a hearing of their music. So for us, as part of the transgender research that we do, we support the music that comes from transgender folks as coming from the Word of God. Certainly, I personally spend like many years of my life doing a lot of research, etc. Doing a lot of research in finding these various songs, etc. etc. And so I spent many years actually going to great lengths to make sure to get that church copyright license, etc. So before I even started doing this live stream, I did my research. I went to great lengths and obtained every single solitary license that there ever possibly is, so that all my legal bases could be covered, because I wanted to make sure that every aspect was covered. I'm only on a disability support pension, and so pension, but essentially every church regardless whether it be CLACCA ULC or somebody else, every church has to have a church copyright license and a live streaming license, which enables us to play our research transgender music that we want to play, and play, and so anything that you can donate towards helping to cover the cost of that. The other thing that we have to have is things like public liability insurance, so that when we're organizing our events, if somebody has an accident, then we have public liability insurance to cover that. And that, so I'm talking about like in terms of like a physical action. So and every organization has to have public liability insurance to put on our events, etc. Like it's a lot of license. Like people don't realize that when you're an ordained minister, it's not just the legal cost of registration that you've got to worry about with the Attorney General's Department. You've also got to worry about things like you've got to have things like public liability insurance, and you've got to have things like you've got to have a live streaming license. Like there are so many licenses, like it's ridiculous. Like the amount of licenses that they require an ordained minister to have. Like, you know, it's not just a case of you get ordained with the church and that's it. No, on the contrary, that's not it at all. It also involves like particularly like in Australia, like it's not as easy as it is in America. In Australia, like ordained ministers, like we are so friggin' heavy we are so bloody regulated, like it's ridiculous. Like I'm grateful for the heavy regulation of it on the one hand, because but another on the flip side of that, that's those who think they're free to discriminate they don't go to the lengths that we transgender ordained ministers go to get all the legal registration. So like, and I've come across them, like, not only like do they think that they're free to discriminate, but they're also free. They also think that they also think that they're free to basically like drive without a license. When like when like essentially like you've got to when that's that's not the case at all. Like you've got to and while it's it's crap the amount of licenses that you've got to get just to be an ordained minister and to operate and to organize and run a church online. It does cost funds. It normally comes out of my disability support pension. So anything that you can donate towards life and work in order to keep these services free, that would be great. Our BSB and account number is on the screen. We're now going to go to our final song of praise, and that is Better Is A's. And the one that we're going to do is Martin Luther by Maniac Monday. Hey, my name is Mr. Rev Comrade Rarely. I am really I will see you in I'll see you next Sunday from 5 p.m. I am hopefully we will get some good news. I am going to hopefully we'll get some good news. Please tune in every Sunday from 5 p.m. Right now we're going to go to a final song of praise, which is Martin Luther by the History Teachers. Thank you very much for joining us. Please tune in from 5 p.m. Every Sunday. That's all for now. God bless and good night.
Germany, a sleepy little monastic town. Religious corruption ran rampant.
He was free at last.
He married a nun.
Luther posted 95 theses on All Saints' Day Eve. Grace we receive. Money won't get us a reprieve. Just be faith and to believe. His name is Martin Luther. Looking for some truth, yeah. Reformation grew, yeah. We can thank that Martin Luther.
Bye. All right. See you next week. Bye.